Greetings and welcome to another video in our series about VoiceAttack, the Elite VA plugin and Elite Dangerous. In this episode we're going to look at a command to launch the ship launch fighter, either with ourselves in it or an NPC crew member, and some basic commands to control the ship or the fighter remotely. And in the best Blue Peter fashion, I've made the commands ahead of time because it's a bit of a pain in the backside to get them to work. So I'll go through the command and show you how it all works. We have at the top the trigger phrases. We've got deploy or launch, crew in, fighter, 1 or 2. We can see at the very top that 1 and 2 is optional, as is the crew in, which gives us variations of what we can say. We could do deploy in fighter 1, deploy in fighter 2, deploy fighter, deploy crew in, and so on. So the first thing we need to do is work out whether we can deploy the ship launch fighter. So this section here just checks to see whether we're either docked, landed, have our landing gear down, or if we're in super cruise. If any of those are true, it tells us we can't do that and exits the command. We then execute the roll panel command, which we made in another video. I'll put a link to it either in the top corner and or the card at the end. We then need to check to see if we're in Odyssey. That affects the position on the menu. So if we're in Odyssey, we want to go down 1. Otherwise, we stay at the top. And so this checks to see if we've said nothing or 1 on the voice command. And if we have, it goes right 1, holds down the up key for 1/3 of a second, which puts it at the top of the list, which we'll get to in a second. And then it presses select to put us into fighter 1. If we said 2, it does the same thing. It goes up to the top and then drops us down 1 and then hits select. This way we're in either fighter 1 or fighter 2's deployment menu. And then we check to see if we said nothing or crew in the voice trigger. If command segment 1 is blank, it will just press select, which will deploy us in the fighter. If it contains crew, it will then go down 1, hit select and go UI back, and then it will return us back to looking at the top whether we said deploy ourselves or not. Actually thinking about it, we only want to do that if we deploy the crew, because if we deploy it ourselves, we're looking ahead anyway. So just tweak that slightly. There we go. That's the command to either deploy ourselves or the NPC in either fighter 1 or fighter 2. Now, if we pop into the game, we can demonstrate it working. Launch crew in fighter 2.
Roger. Telepresence startup engaged.
That's now deployed the crew in fighter 2.
Fighter is online. I'm ready when you are.
Now they're out doing their thing. We can also, if we go back into VoiceAttack, we have some basic commands we can give them, which are in here. These are very, very simple. They're just a spoken phrase and it just presses a key. That's all it does. Nothing else. We've got all of the ones set up to recover the fighter. That one there will also open up the hangar bay if you're in the fighter. You can change the voice triggers, put in wherever you fancy. But they're just literally, as I say, a trigger and a key press. That's it. Go defensive and everything else. Hold the position. And the other one there is maintain formation. Maintain formation. Attack mode.
Ready when you are, Commander.
We call the fighter.
We'll go, Commander. Returning
That
to
comes
fighter
back.
bay now.
And it will dock in a second.
Retrieval process complete, Commander.
Launch crew in fighter 1.
Copy. Deploying the fighter now.
Now we're out in Fighter 1,
Clear,
the
Commander.
NPC.
Put me in the thick of it.
We call the fighter. That's coming back again.
Fighter retrieval initiated, Commander.
Launch Fighter 2.
Retrieval complete. Hangar is secure, Commander.
Now I've deployed myself in the fighter.
Stand by for deployment. Fighter is going live.
Hold position. And now give a command to the ship to stay where it is. We call fighter. Hangar bay is now open for me.
Complete. Retrieval sequence ready to be initiated.
You could add a phrase along the lines of open the hangar bay for me if you wanted to. There we go, we're back in the fighter bay. So there you go. Some basic commands to control the ship and the fighter, and command to either deploy yourself or the NPC crew in either Fighter 1 or Fighter 2. So if we wanted to deploy the fighter using our crew member's name, we could do that as well. So in the command segment 1, we need to put in their name. I've copied and pasted earlier. And then we need to put this in. Yeah. And then we need to add the crew member's name to the compare. So we do right click, edit with condition builder, or we'll put in rubbish in there for a second. We can then copy that, paste that in there, delete it, Adelin. Okay, that. Then done, into the game, and deploy Adelin in Fighter 2.
Copy. Deploying the fighter now.
So now you can deploy them using their name as well.
Put me in the thick of it.
Unfortunately, the game doesn't tell us what type of fighters we have in the fighter bay. All we know is we have 1 or 2 fighters. Hopefully that'll be of use to those of you who use the ship launch fighters. Somebody did ask me a while back if you could make commands to auto launch a fighter if the current one was destroyed. If it's something people are interested in, let me know and I'll dig it out and make a video on it. If you have any questions, comments, ideas, what anything, put them in the comments section below and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. If you've enjoyed the video or found it useful, click the like button, and if you haven't already, hit the subscribe too and share the video out. Until the next one, take care and I'll see you soon. Toodles!